It seems like there's something nearby, but I'm not quite sure. I think I need to get a little closer. Let's try it one more time. Yep, I think I'm getting a reading here. Oh wait, I think I see it up top. Hold on a second. What is this? What? I can't quite grab it. Oh, wait, I think I got it. Hold on. Let me just drag this down just a little bit. Do you guys see that? Oh, it's a little suspicious. 1 second here. Let's just... yeah, that does make sense. I think I need to take a little bit of a deeper look here. Let me just, yeah, I think that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Let me just... Why, hello guys. It's nice to finally meet you. Didn't mean to call you out there. I very much know what kind of people we all are, let's be honest. Anyways, it's nice to see everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed Texa's debut. She managed to serenade me personally. I very much enjoyed that. It's a little hot in here. I don't know if it's the nerves or if it's because of the fact that I had about 2 glasses. But we're not going to talk about that. I have my window open. If you hear the wind, pretend it's some lovely ambiance. We have the window open in the lab. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. And if you can see in the back, we have our lovely room. It's tucked in the corner of the lab, so it's a little dark, a little damp. Well, not damp. I try to keep it clean. I'm someone who likes my surroundings very organized, as you can tell. Everything you should be concerned about is on my computer. But you're not going to worry about that. You're never going to see that, so don't even bother. Anyways, my name is Desiree. I am the VTuber for the USS Des Moines. And in case you guys may have not seen the short that I released talking about it, speaking of the USS Des Moines, any donations we get for the Des Moines is going to my sister USS Salem. So shout out to the USS Salem here. How is everyone doing tonight? I did see a couple of people also have some drinks. And if you see me looking to the side, it's because I'm staring at you guys. In fact, let me move you guys over here. You lost your chat privileges today. You will not be on screen. So please excuse that. Later we'll get to you guys coming back on screen, but not today. You had a little bit of a sneak peek, but not anymore. You've lost that privilege. You get to go in the cages for later, of course. Just for today, so you can behave while we're going over everything, of course, since we have a presentation. And I'm very nervous, so if I'm talking really fast, you can tell me to be quiet or to slow down or to breathe, because I'm probably going to lose my breath somewhere in between. There's a reason why there is a fine print on the description saying girl failure. So you guys will see that eventually. But anyways, what is the language text on the monitors? You know, I can't even tell. We'll just say it's wingdings at best. We'll just say it's wingdings because I can't even read it. Even with my glasses on, I can't see what that says. So don't worry about it. I even got new glasses and it doesn't work. Anyways, let me just move this a little bit. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but we did post some leggies today. Unfortunately, the ASMR that I promised is going to be a little bit delayed until probably after CarrierCon, so it will take about a month or so. But after that month, you guys will get that. So in exchange, you guys will get thighs. That's about it. And it is pretty hot in here, like I said. I definitely already took my shirt off, but for immersion's sake, we're taking our coat off too. There we go. Yes, we had our thermal tights on, and I'm very glad that we're not wearing those right now because it feels like it's 90 degrees in here, and I think I need another drink. Hold on. There we go. All right, we're good. It's very nice and sweet. I get chatty when I get drunk, so it's good. Yes, you can see that we have a very large hole here going on. It's to represent our very large guns that we had, of course. But anyways, it is lovely to see you guys. I know it's kind of late for some of you. It's a little late for me since I will be awake at 7 a.m. going to the gym tomorrow. But that's beyond the point. Yes, big deck energy. Exactly. What are we drinking? We have... It's almost like an at-home island cooler. I went to Texas the other day. Not actual Texas. Would have been lovely. I can't handle the heat personally. I'm a cold person. But some Texas Roadhouse. Go there for the bread. Came out with a whole giant thing of alcohol. It was great. Wore off in an hour though because I metabolized it like a beast. So, unfortunately, it was enjoyable while it lasted. But did not last long, unfortunately. But do I have any gin? I do not. I'm a sweet type of person, so a lot of moonshines I really like. I also have a Bailey's in there as well. It is the dairy-free one, unfortunately. I am lactose intolerant. However, that typically doesn't stop me. I am a believer that if you are lactose intolerant and you let that stop you, then you're weak. No offense. Or full offense. But if you're lactose intolerant and you let that stop you from enjoying ice cream or having cheese, I'm judging you just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much, but I'm giving you a side eye. Anyways, let me move down a little bit so we can move on to the presentation, because we do have a little bit of a presentation today, and I've realized after looking at it a few times that we're missing a little bit. But to defend myself, I have a really bad memory. I forget things almost immediately. It's like the size of a goldfish. Wait, no. My brain is the size of... No, I don't know how that saying goes. Actually, I'm not going to try. But in regards to that, I often forget things pretty easily, and that includes what I like. So even if I like something, I forget that I like it until it suddenly comes back into my mind. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I did like that, didn't I? In fact, it's one of my favorites. But I somehow forgot it existed. It happens. And now I'm getting a little cold. Maybe I should put my shirt back on. No, it's okay. We're just gonna go on. Anyways, we're moving down to the corner. Wait, I'm a little too close in the corner. I'm going to get a little close and personal. Don't mind me. All right, the presentation. Am I blocking the way? A little bit. Don't worry about it. All right. You have 2 brain cells. I will say that's impressive. I've got about 1, and it's always working overtime. Anyways. Yes. So I am Desiree134. Lovely to meet everyone. My nickname, not my nickname, is the Daisy May. Do not call me Daisy. Do not call me May. And do not call me Daisy May. Please call me Desiree or call me Des. Or even Doctor. But please don't call me Daisy or Daisy May. I am 180 centimeters, or in freedom units, that's about 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in between there. Yes, we are the same height as Texa. Now, I will say, I'm not familiar with centimeters. I'm a very freedom unit person. I don't really know what centimeters go into half the time, or not circumference, hold on, Celsius. Yeah, okay, the alcohol's getting to me. Don't mind it, guys. Don't mind it. About 5.9, 5'10". Okay, that helps, that helps. Just shy of 6 foot. So we're getting there. Drink your milk, guys. And my birthday is May 28th. And that, of course, you see that right, that's 45. We're a little aged. But that makes it better, of course. And you can probably tell, you'll often hear me complaining about my joints. Don't mind that. That happens. You know, with age, the rust gets to you a little bit. With the weathering, of course. It's not too good on the joints half the time. Or the memory. Or on that note, as you guys can tell. Anyways, yeah, so we love hags. Hag love. Let's I need to remember my key bindings for this. There we go. And I'm going to show you guys my rig while we're here. We have the full ship rig. Look at those big guns. And I'm not talking about the ones on the chest. I'm talking about the ones behind me. Very nice. Very nicely done. Big shout out to how much effort was put into drawing this beast of a rig. Do not call me by my nickname, Daisy May. I will consider banning you. But yes, look at that. Isn't that truly incredible? And by the way, speaking of, when it comes to my design, big shout out to Mono Joker, Papa, both Texa and I. But isn't it beautiful? Put you to the experiment jar. That's true. If you guys cross me, you're either going into the jar or you're going into the cage. We have one for isolation and we have one where you are able to talk to a few people, but it's typically a little damp and dreary, but I'm sure you can deal with that. Let's go on. Yes, we have several cages in the lab. Don't ask about what they're for. I'm sure you can take a guess. Can I get into the jar without crossing you? Yes, I'm always in need of extra specimens, so I'm sure that is perfectly fine. We will also eventually be looking for assistance, so we may eventually do an assistant application. Unfortunately, the pay is not that great, and no, we do not have healthcare benefits either. I can't afford that, so you're going to have to deal with it and cope. Anyways, likes and dislikes. Now here's where it gets a little funky. And we're going to go off the rails just a little bit because I did not include anything. At least, not that much. Anyways, I just realized, am I glowing? The answer is yes. Okay, I'm glad. Anyways, will you get paid? Maybe. Debatable. We'll find out when we get there. Likes. We'll go off of what we have here first, and then we'll go into the rest. But we have horror to start. I am a big horror enjoyer, and I am talking about movies, books, horror games. I will be honest. Am I a big coward? Yes. I grew up very superstitious. However, maybe I'm partly a masochist. I think I'm going through like a realization here, but that's for another time for me to understand and unbag that. But I love horror anyways. It's the adrenaline, I guess. I have a weird fixation on horror and ghost. I love the supernatural, even though I grew up very superstitious and I'm horrified of ghosts, which is another thing we'll talk about in just a moment, which is the whole mortuary thing. But I love cats. I currently have one cat. She's called Little Lion. Absolute brat, but she loves to cuddle, so I'm not going to complain. She's very needy. But in general, I love cats. I think I'm someone you can call a crazy cat lady because I'm crazy and I love cats. So you kind of combine the two and there you are. I have like a cat hoodie. I have a cat trash can. I have cat socks, cat sweater, a cat. I love cats. To be fair, I have had cats and definitely have connected with them the most. Also, for those of you who are going to bed, I see you. Have a good night. Also, have I watched Supernatural? I actually have not, but I've been meaning to because a lot of people talk about it. But I will say right now, I'm actually watching House MD. Even though it's a super old show, I really want to watch it because I find it kind of funny. I don't have the socks with cat paws on the bottom, but I considered buying it for photos. And I do need to play Eugenics. I haven't yet, but I keep seeing it. It's never the best. Oh my gosh. Watching House MD and then seeing, like, for those who don't know, I'm so sorry. I'm losing my voice. I am also chronically ill. So whenever they talk about certain things on the show, I'm like, that sounds oddly familiar. Should I be worried? By the way, guys, I am very transparent and I'm very open. And if that ever makes you uncomfortable, please do let me know. So I'm always just kind of like side-eyeing it, like, you know, that sounds kind of familiar. A little weird. Are you a Hello Kitty fan? I'm actually a Pum Pum Purin fan. So he's my Sanrio favorite, personally. But full monkey mode. You know what? Your wife is very real for that. It's always lupus, oh boy. Oh, but regarding mortuary. So fun fact for those of you here, and before you guys see some of my shorts that I have coming out, I actually major in mortuary science. I mean, I also major in psychology and healthcare foundations as well. I'm like trio degree. But I also worked at a funeral home for several years. I am very into mortuary, as weird as that may sound. I also considered going into the army as a mortician. Though it's just definitely a little difficult, of course, being chronically ill. I am very excited for the Mortuary Assistant movie. It is actually already out, but I haven't been able to see it yet. So I'm very excited to hopefully see it. I think I'm supposed to be seeing it this Sunday, fingers crossed. But yeah, we will definitely see. And in regards to mortuary, it's really funny because I'm horrified of ghosts because of how I grew up. Like, my mom is someone who is like, do not touch a Ouija board at all. Do not even be in the same room. Do not touch or interact with anything that could be a quote-unquote conduit or anything like that. And also, like, I don't know if you guys had this superstition when you were growing up, but she was like, hold your breath when you go by a cemetery because a ghost might cling on to you and then go home with you. So that was something that, like, my mom always hammered into me growing up. So I naturally became very superstitious and very much afraid of ghosts. But then I went to mortuary. So it's a little interesting how that works because I'm into horror, especially ghosts, and I'm very into mortuary. So it doesn't really make sense. It's very contradictory, you know? The water in the vase. Wait, tell me about that one. I'm kind of curious what superstitions you guys grew up with because I know it's very different, like even regionally in like the US. Because my mom had a bunch of superstitions herself, both because of her family, but also because she grew up in the South. And my dad, I'm not even quite sure. Oh, is that the merch link? Oh my gosh, thank you, Ship. Let me pin that real fast. Hopefully that pin properly, because we're doing it via OBS. Every mortician gangs until they hear sneeze while they are alone in the mortuary. Oh my gosh, guys. I have so many horror stories for you. I have so many. While I was always scared of ghosts, I was always skeptical, and I still am. I am someone who's always going to be like, it could have been a ghost, sure, but it was probably the wind. I rationalize everything. But when I worked at the funeral home, because I worked there for several years, I literally, they diagnosed me with schizophrenia because of things that I, went through while at the, funeral home. Also, I have not played Mortuary Assistant, but that is going to be something we play soon. I've had it in my library for years, and I've never played it. Also, hunting ghosts sounds very fun. That is something I really want to do with LIBERTAS. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad when I was working at the funeral home. Now, maybe I was just stressing myself out and going crazy. It's... I definitely was probably just stressing myself out and making myself anxious while I was working there because of that fear. But because of, me, experiencing those things, it felt like either I was going crazy or it was ghost. Who knows? I have so many stories I can tell you guys. Also, I love Phasmophobia. I heard that they're updating Tanglewood, which is very exciting. Ooh, that was kind of sad. Oh, for Warframe? Wait, I actually need to look into that. I haven't played Warframe in so long. I was always that kid that would spend the night in the woods to debunk stuff, other stuff people told me to. That is very, very real. I cannot lie. I was very much a brat growing up. Anything you told me, I wanted to do the opposite or prove the opposite. All the time. Does not matter what. You told me to do something, I didn't want to do it. You said something was a fact, I was going to prove you wrong. Even if I was in the wrong, I'm gonna find a way around it. I did read some Stephen King books. I actually have some in my library, my at-home library. Wait, no, not right now because I packed everything up several months ago and I have it unpacked. But I have some of his newer books. I do not remember what it was called. It was one of his newer ones that I bought a couple years ago. I think I own about 4 of his books. I also own the entire series, or I guess all of the works that Edgar Allan Poe has made, because he is one of my favorite writers, as cringe as that might sound. So I have all of his works owned. Are you a book curly? Absolutely. I love having physical books. When it comes to manga or anything in that regard, I like it digitally. But if it's, it's funny you say the "are you moving soon" joke, because I wanted to make a joke like that where I was like, oh, I'm debuting soon, but I'm like, I don't think anyone's gonna know this, because it was a very inside VFleet joke for a while. Yes, Junji Ito. Love Junji Ito. Oh my gosh. Junji Ito is a big reason. Okay, hold on. Pause. We need to continue this before I lose track, because I will keep yapping the entire time. Hold on. All right. Sweets. I love sweets. In regards to food, I love sweets. I love spicy foods. I love noodles. But I try to pause that, because I am someone who does try to focus on fitness a little bit more and my health. I'm someone who went on like a huge like health journey in like the past like year and a half. So I very much limit what I eat. At least I try to. Do I occasionally fall through and I have a sweet treat and then my my body's like, hold up, what are you doing? Yes. But there's a reason I also eat 2 apples a day. And it's not to keep the doctor away, because clearly I'm right here, but every other doctor is very intimidated, of course. There's many other likes that I forgot right now, but of course they'll come with time, as everything else will, because I forget everything. But for dislikes, we have loud noises. I may be loud, but I do not like loud noises happening around me. I don't like sudden loud noises, and I don't like chatter. I'm a very anxious person. Can you tell? No, you can't. Maybe you can, because I'm talking really fast. I have really bad social anxiety, which is why I love streaming. But when I go out and I hear chatter, I get very overwhelmed. Very overwhelmed. Oh, I don't know who I share the same birthday with. I don't think I've ever paid attention to that, but that's really interesting. Concerts are a no-go. Ironically enough, I think I've only ever been to 1 concert, and I don't remember it. I did not say that I don't like chatters. Hold on a second. Pause. Pause. Talking fast is normal for a Great Laker. Source, I talk fast. Wait, is that real? I used to always joke about how, like, because technically I'm from Michigan, right? But in Canada, you always see a lot of like the Canadian streamers also talking really fast. And I always was like, no, that's funny. We talk fast here too a lot of the time. And maybe that is like a Great Lake thing, because Canadians do it as well. Like the ones like are literally right above Michigan. Is that actually a thing? Am I crazy? Am I making things up? Oh my gosh. Julius Caesar stab you stab day. That is a day to share. That is a day to share. I can talk slow, but to be honest, it's typically when I'm focusing on talking slow. Like I can, but you're not going to understand me half the time because I'm not talking slow at all. Maybe I should become a rapper, guys. Maybe instead of like trying to sing, I should like start rapping any verses that we have in any VFleet cover ever, because of how fast I talk normally. But I also slur my words half the time. And it's not because I'm drunk, maybe right now, but not because I'm drunk usually. Favorite word to say when scooting past them? It's a, oh, just gotta squeeze behind you real fast. Oh. If you talk too slow, then you forget what you're talking about. Yep, pretty much. Ooh, maybe I should do Rap God. Also, my other dislike is waking up. I'm not a fan of sleeping unless I want to, because it's nice. It feels nice. But I also don't like waking up, because the feeling of having to wake up and the moodiness and grogginess that you feel when waking up is horrendous. Not a fan. Oh, a third dislike, because this just came to mind, student loan interest. That is awful. I don't know why anyone has made that a thing, because student loan interest is actually insane. But anyways, aside from that, I'm sure many people here can relate to me saying that no one likes student loan interest. I feel like if anyone does, they're a corpo scammer. Anyways, Moving on. I see you, Mooney. Games, anime, and music. I'm a little bit in the way. You guys aren't gonna know this one. For games. Our very first one is one that you guys have probably never heard of. And if you have, you probably have made fun of. Which is IDV. Which is kind of like Dead by Daylight, but very anime. So if you're a weeaboo, you would probably like IDV a lot. I play it quite a bit. Don't look it up. Don't worry about it. Just take my word for it. It's a nice game, but probably don't look it up. I see a lot of IDV enjoyers in here though. Hello. We also have Outlast Trials. I've actually put in about 50 hours into this game in the past week. Don't worry about it. I love Outlast in general. Look Outside. I have not. Wait, tell me a little bit about that. Persona 3, portable. The reason why is because I was a big... Okay, pause. Do not let me go off trails, guys, because I will. Can we get a pause counter? I feel like that's like our third pause that we have. Regarding the horror games that I enjoy, I love anything horror. As you can tell, we have Outlast Trials as our number 2. But anything, Outlast, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, the main ones, of course. We also have Evil Within. We have Fatal Frame. I love Fatal Frame. Very excited for the new ones. I love anything Chill's art. Anything to do with supernatural horror or anything in that regard. Always a big fan. Always a big fan. FNAF, absolutely. Love FNAF. Persona 3. I love Persona in general. Absolutely love Persona. But Persona 3 is my favorite. In particular, Persona 3 Portable is very nostalgic to me. I used to play Persona 3 on the PSP when I was younger. And I actually didn't have a card to save. Like, I could not save the game. So I had my PSP running all the time. Because if I turned off the PSP, it would reset the game. So I had to constantly have it going to play it. Persona 3 was my first one, yes. Persona 3 was my first and my very nostalgic one. I think I enjoyed Persona 3 the most lore-wise, but I think I do enjoy Persona 5 the most in regards to game mechanics because I think it definitely has been done the smoothest as of right now. I've now played System Shock. Turn-based cosmic horror RPG that's quite wholesome. Ooh, I'm kind of interesting because I like cosmic horror. In fact, I've been wanting to play, what's it called? It's this this one game that's on itch. Ew, hold on. It's a cosmic horror. You guys, I'm not sure if many people may know it. No, it's not. Ooh, Dark Corners of the Earth though does sound very familiar. It's cannot think of it. It's where you're kind of like monitoring almost like a space, not a space shuttle, but like one of the like space towers in a way. Voice of the Void. Yes. Thank you. Perfect. That is exactly it. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. I totally forgot. My brain. Yes, that is the game that I've been wanting to do because it's very interesting to me, but I have not been able to play it yet. But that's on the list that I want to play. I have many games I want to play, but I never do. My brain doesn't brain half the time. Can you tell that I'm a mad scientist? There's a lot of screws loose up there, which is where the mad part comes in. Ooh, I'm on observation duty is a very interesting one to try out. I can't lie. I feel like I'm a little bad when it comes to trying to notice small changes. Now, don't get me wrong. I love watching Insim. He is probably my favorite content creator to watch. Like last year alone, I think I watched like somewhere about 300 of his videos or more, maybe, last year. I love his videos. He's one of my favorite content creators. He plays, I'm on observation duty, a lot of horror games, Phasmophobia. But yeah, I look up to him. Have you played Fear, First Encounter Assault Recon? No, but that sounds really interesting. You guys are giving me good ideas because I was kind of stumped on what to do, but now it's all coming to me right now. And you do see this correctly, League of Legends. You're gonna have to sit with me on this one. To be precise, I like playing League of Legends with friends. And typically, I enjoy the extra game modes like Aram, Arf, all those fun ones. Also, I have the Demonologist. I actually somewhat prefer it over Phasmophobia, but I didn't say that. Yes. Oh, Quinn mentioned. Yes, I am a League enjoyer. I haven't played it much lately. I've been on my recovery arc. However, it's like a demon that's kind of like, it's always at the back of your mind and it's trying to claw its way out. You know, it's like, you want to play it. All the money you've spent in the past 6 years, it's speaking to you. Ooh, horror and FPS. I'm afraid you've got me there. You look like a vein mate. I'm sorry to disappoint anyone here, but I typically play bot lane. It's usually whatever my friend is playing that I'll bounce off of. I like to play very weird supports. I play mages as support that shouldn't be support, but it's because my duo usually will play a tank as ADC. So I'm saying, like, they'll play Tahm Kench, I'll play Orianna. They'll play Set, I'll play Yuumi. Just because I get to sit and do nothing. But that was old Yuumi, not new Yuumi as much. It was old Yuumi. I don't know if anyone remembers old Yuumi before she got reworked. But things like that. We like the weird duos. And it worked. It worked, don't get me wrong. Did we not really have an ADC? Yes. Social smoking, that is kind of a good comparison. Veigar and Vel'Koz support. I see you. I understand. Have you seen Arcane? Yes, I've watched it several times. I'm a big Arcane enjoyer. I will say, yes, there was definitely some lore retconning that happened in it, and I understand that there are people who are upset about it. I will say, I think it's interesting what they did with it, but I also see why it's also kind of like, I mean, okay. Yes, several times. I'm so sorry. World's Finals. No, wait. I heard about it, but I didn't get to actually watch it. Season 1 or Season 2 enjoyer. Ooh, depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for lore accuracy and you want to be the most similar to League, Season 1. But if you want to look more for an emotional connection, like it's very emotional, very heart-wrenching, and also very engaging, Season 2. My favorite in Arcane, ooh, this is hard. This is actually really, really hard. I will say, and this isn't to be basic, but I do really like Jinx. Mainly because we're both BPD girlies. That's kind of like a big reason. I also think her character is very well fleshed out in Arcane, which you never get to see. You don't get to see that typically for Jinx. I think they did a really good job with her. But anyways, for anime and manga, yes, Jinx is definitely the most popular choice in that regard. I just think that compared to what they gave her in League and Arcane, they did a really good job actually fleshing her out. Wait, there's a Ghost in the Shell anime coming out? Ooh, I remember playing a really old Ghost in the Shell game like a long time ago. I need to put that on a watch list. League is a weird spin-off game of Arcane. Yeah, we'll go with that. But we have the summer Hikaru died. The reason why I actually became a big fan of this anime is because I was a big fan of Junji Ito. I still am. In fact, I don't know why I didn't even include it on the favorites, but it very much reminded me of Junji Ito, but it took more of what's it called? A coming of age, like a coming of age take on it, and a wider fleshed out story. Which is why I very much like The Summer Hikaru Died. And the manga's really good right now, by the way, if anyone does like it. Manga is very interesting right now. After that is Devilman Crybaby. You can definitely see what kind of anime that I like here. I like gruesome anime, I guess. Gory anime. Ones that will probably make you question life because, oh my gosh, the main character died. As you... Ooh, wait, can I say this? Wait, guys. Is Chainsaw Man season 1 or how many seasons? I don't know. I'm a manga reader. But when it comes to Chainsaw Man, how far are we in here? Ooh, Berserk, I actually haven't been able to read yet, but has been on my list for a long time. I really need to get into it. I really need to. I'm very aware of a lot of things that happen in Berserk, but I haven't actually gotten to it myself. Would you consider Junji Ito the Japanese equivalent of H.P. Lovecraft? Ooh, that's a good question, actually. We just finished. Oh, okay. Why is it not surprising? Oh boy. That's actually a really fair question. I want to say they have similarities, but I can't say they're necessarily an equivalent because what they put on the table for horror is very different. I feel like one focuses more on the cosmic, more otherworldly, while the other is pretty cosmic and otherworldly, but at the same time it has this feeling of where it's something that can happen. Like it's something that has this twist of reality where it feels like a normal day could turn into this with like a slight turn. If that makes sense. I don't know if it really makes sense of what I'm saying, but I think they're very similar, but the aspects of what they introduce it is very different. Yes, Junji Ito himself, Ito is absolutely lovely. Yes, Ito, his horror is very, it's like comparing almost like country level superhero to small town superhero in a sense. If that, you know, like we're comparing like Spider-Man to Superman in a sense, but horror. Also, thank you for the congratulations. But also, Chainsaw Man, sorry, I'm getting off track here. Time is flying by, and it's because I talk too much. But Chainsaw Man is one that I very, very much enjoy. I read the manga for. I know he's on break right now. But I do need to catch up. I feel like I'm like 2 months behind anyways. So I do have to catch up on that. I love Chainsaw Man, one of my favorites. Big enjoyer. I do think the second arc is very, very well done. It was very confusing for a while, but I think it's really interesting where it is right now. Favorite JoJo part? Ooh, okay. This is hard. I feel like it really depends on what I'm in the mood for. Because it depends. It depends if I'm looking for something that's going to be more laid back and upbeat. Almost like in a sense where part 4 feels like something that you would want to watch on just like to chill. I think I like part 4. It's kind of even. Oh my gosh, this is really hard. I feel like part 5? No, this is really hard. Yes, part 4 is for like the whimsy. Part 3 is for the action, but I will say I think part 3 is very, very stretched out. However, it probably has the most magnetic characters. I feel like part 3 is the part where you will cry the most for losing the characters that you're going to lose. I think part 3 has the most magnetic characters. Part 4 is very laid back and whimsical, very fun, comedic. Part 5 is a little more of a darker take, but I will say I think the connections between the lore and the characters is very interesting. Part 6, it wasn't mediocre. I think it was a very interesting switch to be able to kind of restart the JoJo series in a way. Not like restart, but to keep it like going. I think the characters were very interesting, but I think it was very short-lived. Part 6, I think, needed to be more fleshed out for the character's sake. Part 7, I think, is my favorite. Very popular take. Yes, on a narrative sense, part 6 was really good. Part 7 was good at almost every dynamic. I can't lie. Part 8 was also really good, though I think I dropped just somewhere near the end because I wasn't keeping up with the updates. But I very much liked part 8 because I like the parallels. I think my favorite overall is part 7, and I do like part 4, which is like a huge turnaround from you might hear from me, right? Also, good night. I know, time is flying. We're talking a little bit too much. And we have Yami Shibai. I absolutely adore Yami Shibai. It's like this anime with a bunch of different short horror like stories, which is very, very interesting to me. They also have a lot of Vocaloid music. Lots of Miku. And And music. You may have not heard of this, but we do have Pop Tropica Sluts. The S is not here. I'm not sure if that will get bonked by having that in it. I don't know how YouTube's like. Pop Tropica Sluts is more of like an indie group, very indie, but it's like punk music mixed with a little bit of hyperpop occasionally. I'm someone who very much likes punk pop, punk rock. Yes, I probably will enjoy very old emo bands. If you show me an old emo song, I'll probably enjoy it. I have not watched Girl. Wait, I remember seeing it on my my anime site, and I wanted to watch it. But aside from, oh, yes, I do like MCR. In regards to other groups that are not here, I did post about them, but I do like Hollywood Undead is a really big one for me. In fact, I'm surprised I didn't put it on here. I love Hollywood Undead. I love Mitski. That makes me sound depressed, but I do like Mitski's songs. I also like Mindless Self-Indulgence. Offspring, Green Day, yes, absolutely. Those are some big ones as well for me. And yeah, those are the ones that immediately come up into mind. And we do have Zeal Kanjoka here. He is another VTuber who makes music, but I really like his songs. In fact, a lot of them I want to cover. In fact, I'm working on a lot of them right now. I will say I need another drink. 1 second. I'm talking too much. Who is depressed in this day and age? I can't argue with that one. But I'm not a big singer, and you guys will probably hear that whenever we have our cover drop. But it's something I'm always working on, and there are many covers I want to be able to work on. Should I take a bite out of my apple? I feel like my mouth is getting dry. Anyways, speaking of punk, we have Caramel Candid, which is actually a Japanese punkish, rockish band, which I absolutely adore. I love their music so much. I have not. You guys are giving me like a lot of it's like recommendations for me. Ooh, when it comes to Hollywood Undead, who is your favorite member? That's kind of like a hard bargain. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Hydrate. All right, hold on. All right. Water ASMR. Give me a second. All right, there we go. I am being enlightened, it's true. We also have some Vocaloid producers here. We do have Nilfruits and Pseudo. I will be honest, I am very big on producers who either use Flower or Gumi. Those are my two favorite Vocaloid, like, ever. Very big fans of those two. They are probably my favorite Vocaloids. In fact, we'll get there. My goals! We're finally here! I don't even know how many slides we got left. Alright, my goal is release an original song. And this will also go into the have a 3D concert. But I want to have a song with Gumi. I want to have a song with Gumi, and I want to be able to perform with Gumi. I feel like that would be, like, for me, my childhood self would be screaming, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had a concert with Gumi. But yes, we finally made progress, guys. And reach a partner on YouTube. I don't know if this seems like a small goal or not to me. I feel like it's still a big goal. Every step is a milestone. But we also have collab with an Oshi, which we have a few of those. And we definitely gotta get going, so we only have 10 more minutes. The Vocaloid. However, I would never be opposed. But collabing with an Oshi, I have a few, which we'll cover more in the 2.0. And we also have Go Ghost Hunting with Libertas IRL. This would be fun. Would I cry? Maybe. But would it be fun? Absolutely. Yes, Ghost Hunting on the Salem would be amazing, or even the USS Hornet. Get Admiral on board with that. Okay, here's some of the specifics. We have some big guns. As you can tell, I'm a Des Moines class heavy cruiser. I bet you guys didn't know that one. But here are some of our specifics. And yes, I will get tongue-tied if I try to read off any numbers. Can you believe I worked in finance for a little bit? Probably not. Numbers hurt head. Oh, yes. Do you like the pivel? For those of you who are not familiar with the meme, this is pivel. I love pivel. This is my favorite meme of the century. I'm typically kind of what they call unk when it comes to memes. I'm not familiar with memes, like all the 6-7 stuff. Don't know what that means. But I love pivel. Pivel's my favorite. Ooh. Overnight stays. Say less. All right. And we have our Oshi information and our tags. We have our Oshi marks. Of course, it's the anchor and the little vial. And we have her tags, which you guys may... 6-7 doesn't mean anything. I always ask what 6-7 means. No one can give me an answer, so I assume it's nothing. I just say it's probably based off of the joke that's 7, 8, 9. Because instead of 6, 9, it's 6, 7, right? Like, that makes sense to me. Anyways, we have our general / our clip tag, which is hashtag DesDocked. We have our live tag, which is DesSetSail. And our art tag, which I'm not going to pronounce, because even though English is one of my first languages, I don't know how to say that word. Anyways, my Oshi. Speaking of our Oshi, we have Pippa. This is a really hard choice for me because there's a couple of people I really look up to or really enjoy watching. So I had to go from a standpoint of who do I look up to and like admire. And the one who came to mind first was Pippa. Pippa is our boat goat, as I like to call her, as I'm sure many people involved VFleet likes to call her, our boat goat. She's done so much for the USS Hornet. And not only is she very funny, I love people who are blunt and are like, not necessarily like dry humor, but like the humor where it's just like, it takes you off guard. Where it's like, wait a second. But, dude, when people ask me what 6-7 is, I've asked people and they're like, I don't know, it's just a meme. Like, what? What's the point? What's the point? But I will say, I like people who seem out of pocket. Like, Kenji's actually one of them too. I like Kenji, I like Pippa. Insum is not a VTuber, but he's a streamer. I very much like his videos because he's a big horror person. I also very much like anyone who is honestly like plays horror in general. Like, I will always like and enjoy. There's honestly, I could put together like a whole list for 2.0, I can't even lie, of people that I absolutely love and look up to a lot. Because there's many. Like, I can pull up like a whole list. Then we have our credits. We are nearing the end, guys, mainly because we have about 6.5 minutes. We have Mata Joker, who is our lovely papa, who helped bring me to life. We also have Studio Nekoyama, which is who brought me to life. And for our overlay schedule, we have Rograph, and for our BGM, we have Chewy Kiss, or Chewy KZ. Not quite sure there. Slides, we have Yona. Thank you. Big thank you to Yona for helping me put this together because I was lost. Graphic design is not my passion. We also have Sair, who helped with the starting. And the alert is Kazumimi, which you don't see the alert yet, but you guys will get there very soon. So we will definitely have that on display shortly. And we have our schedule for next week because we're not going to be streaming tomorrow since we have the debuts in regards to Yorkie and Kid. And after me, we have Skylar in about 10 minutes here. So we have our debut 2.0 on Monday. Everything will be at 7 p.m. East, aside from the LIBERTAS collab at 6 p.m. East, which will be on Yorkie's stream. We are going to be playing Umigari and Hellmart. We also will be playing the new Resident Evil as well, but I just have to actually buy it. That's where the hard part comes in. But we will be playing the new Resident Evil as well as many others. I'm into battleships in general. In fact, I'll actually be making a video explaining some battleship history again. But yeah, that'll be our schedule for next week, and I will also be posting that as well, probably sometime later this weekend. Yes, Whiskey. And I believe that brings us back to number 1. And since we are done with the presentation, we will do a little turnaround for our model. Let me just move a little bit. I gotta back up. Sorry, my room is a little hard to get around sometimes. All right. You can't see me too well. I'm a little far away, but let me like show you my feetsies. That's about all you're gonna see. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. No more feet for free. Anyways, we have very long legs. It's like me IRL. You know, Admiral somehow clocked me as a glasses wearer when we had our interview, and then it was like, yeah, we're putting glasses on your model. I mean, that's not what he said, but it feels like that's what happens spiritually. But this is our full model here, minus our feet because we're somewhat censored here. We can in fact take our arms down, but typically we'll have those up. I do have a little surprise for you guys, but that has to wait for another time perhaps. We can take off our glasses. Now I'm blind, cannot see. We're going to get a little up close and personal. Don't mind the hole there. Let's go through our little emotes here. This is what happens if you guys happen to piss me off. Hopefully it doesn't happen often. Hopefully. We also have our blush, which makes it look very suspicious. Quite suspicious even. Yes, our button is very strong. We probably have like the strongest buttons known to man. We have our sad, which I will have a Nikkei video coming out soon, and you guys will get to see me very depressed in that. Oh, the blush with the glasses? Yeah, I very much like this. We also have our shock, which hopefully nothing too shocking happens, though I don't really doubt you guys either. So we can also just gonna go up a little bit here. We can also take these off, and you guys can see my beauty marks a little better. Yeah, we can take those off. I'm gonna just put those back on real fast. And yeah, that's about the basic turnaround here. You know, not too much to kind of go around, you know. Well, I think that's probably going to be about all we have time for. And next we have Skylar, our little munchkin Skylar. We absolutely love her. I'm sure everyone loves little sister, little Jetster. She is going to be next. And then tomorrow will be Kid and Gorky. And it was lovely meeting you guys. So sorry for yapping and being a little tipsy. It happens. Definitely a lot of yapping, a lot of going off the rails. But yeah, I will see you guys soon, as I will also be stalking Skylar. Or I guess supporting Skylar. I guess that is more socially appropriate. But aside from that, that will be all. I will see you guys soon. Right, just gotta kind of end things here. Right. That is the wrong button. Hold on one second. Yep. Alright, goodbye guys.